So, what am I talking about when I say feed your mind? Well, one thing I noticed was actually on Facebook, and that's where I keep up with old friends as well as family and all kinds of information. And I noticed there were several posts on there asking questions about books and books that people had read recently. One said, "What is your most favorite book you've read recently?" And the second one said, "What's the most influential book you've read recently?" What took me wasn't the questions, but was actually some of the responses of people saying, "Well, I don't read, or I don't have time to read books or digest content," something of that nature. It was always excuses about why you couldn't. And what caught me by surprise was I was thinking about last night. I got a newborn baby. Wife was frustrated. The baby just would not go to sleep, was crying. So I threw on a backpack and went for a walk. And most people would think, wow, what a waste of time. Obviously, spending time with your child is not a waste of time. But also during that time, I digested 2 chapters of an audiobook while my baby was sleeping. Now, a little son, he was sleeping soundly, he was safe. And during the time, I actually was going through 2 different chapters of a book I was reading. And I say reading, obviously it was an audiobook, so I use that term loosely. But then today, I was actually getting our adventure van. It's a Sprinter van that we had converted so we could travel around the world and have adventures while doing the things that we love. And while I was there, the gentleman apologized for having to wait, and it was going to take an extra 30 minutes. And to me, I thought, hey, no big deal. I threw on my headphones and continued digesting that audiobook. So for me, there was no downtime. And the audiobook I was digesting was actually contrarian to my viewpoints. So meaning I knew that the subject matter and the person who wrote this book had opposing opinions of my own. And I listened to it deliberately because I wanted another voice. I wanted somebody to give me, in my mind, another point of view, a contrarian point of view, so I could see how the other side was presenting their information. So I could see if perhaps they changed my mind. Maybe there's a point of view I hadn't seen yet. I think feeding your mind is one of the questions I get asked of the most. When I'm doing a 90-day challenge with a client, soul comes up the most by far. But what can I do in the area of my mind? And something that's very easy to do is use audiobooks. Now, you can get free audiobooks online if you've gone through our 7-day course to being the author of your own story. There's a few resources there where you can just actually get free audiobooks. And it's totally legal and legit. You don't have to use torrents or anything like that. But you can also use software like Audible. And I use Audible as well as downloading the free audiobooks. And I find it to be fantastically great. Books are coming to an average of like $9 to $12, which to me isn't a lot of money for a new idea or new thought. And so I'm constantly feeding my brain. Now, oftentimes I'll pick one subject matter for each month or each 90 days and really dive deep down that. But every once in a while, I do like some entertainment, or I want a contrarian point of view. I want to see how other people are looking at a subject. So what I'm going to ask you is, where in your life do you have this dead time, downtime, commuting? Is it walking around the block with your baby? Is it sitting in the auto shop? Where do you have downtime that you can add audiobook into your life? That's it for me today. I hope you can add this tip. Go over to authorofyourownstory.com where you can get some of these resources that I'm talking about, as well as other tips and tricks where you can up-level your life in what we call the 5 to Thrive. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.
I have a question for you. What if you could transform your life for the better in just 90 days? Would you do it? Our 90-Day Game is an online program and community created for people like you who are ready to make a shift and take those dreams and goals they've been talking about for years and turn them into a reality within 90 days. Go to authorofyourownstory.com/90-day-game and turn your goals into reality. And don't forget to be the author of your own story.